The following is a local resident producer's program. The program content is the sole responsibility of the producer and does not necessarily reflect the views or policies of CATV2, Oshkosh Community Media Services, the City of Oshkosh, or Time Warner Cable.
Hi everyone, welcome to Oshkosh. Cheryl Hentz here, and very pleased to be joined this evening by our new school superintendent, Dr. Donald Viegut. This is his first time here, and I'm not sure which camera I'm supposed to be looking at here because the lights burned out. So anyway, we're very pleased to have Dr. Viegut here this evening, and this will be what we hope the first of many, many visits that you'll make with us. So anyway, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. I am very happy to be here, and actually I'm extremely happy to be in Oshkosh as well. I have thoroughly enjoyed this, just nearing my end of my 7th week, and it's going very fast. It seems like we get there early in the morning, and I look up, it's 5:30 in the afternoon already.
Well, that's a good thing, though. The day goes fast. You don't have time to get bored or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I would imagine with the school year kind of gearing up, you're not bored at all. So.
Let's touch on that for a minute. No opportunity for boredom at all.
Right. Well, we'll get into the school year thing, but you know, I think certainly there was a meet and greet kind of thing before you were hired, you know, during the selection process. And I think a lot of people, I don't know about a lot, but people who were truly interested and had the time to get over there got a chance to meet you and the other candidates. There's been things written up in the newspaper, of course, on your background, where you've come from and that kind of thing. But in case someone's missed it, you know, kind of just tell us a little bit about yourself and where you come from, what your professional background is.
Sure. I grew up in central Wisconsin there. Had a nice opportunity to be involved in great high school there with fun athletics and academic preparation. Went on to college and came back and was a classroom teacher in the area for 8 years, and then I went on to be a curriculum coordinator, a building principal, curriculum director, and eventually took a superintendency in a small school district and took a deputy superintendency in the Wausau school system, and July 1st began here in Oshkosh as superintendent, and it has been wonderful. I have met a lot of great people, both within the education community and the community in Oshkosh, and I have been very willing to share the kinds of things that we're going to roll up our sleeves and work on, and I've had a lot of people from the community basically say when we get done, how can I help? And I have had I think an overwhelming initial support.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's the nice thing about Oshkosh. I mean, yeah, we've got a group of people, I think, and maybe this is true in any community, but there's always going to be a group of people that they're very much naysayers. All they want to do is complain about everything rather than, you know, if you're going to complain, at least try and offer some solutions or some suggestions. But then, for the most part, it's a very willing, helpful group of people who are willing to, as you said, roll up their sleeves and get in there, and, you know, they truly care.
Yeah.
So
I think what helps with that, with us, with these kinds of organizations, is many people are civically minded, and if we can share with people solid plans of where we're going, why it matters to go there, and how it affects children's lives in the world they're going to inherit, a lot of people can find interest in getting behind that, and we need to be held accountable to do that.
Sure. What was it? Because certainly this district has had its share of, you know, controversial issues that have made a lot of press, probably in some cases around the state. you know, between blogs and websites, you know, traditional type websites, you can access just about anything about any school district. And, you know, so we've had our share of struggles and strifes here, a lot of negativity in some cases. So given all that, what was it about Oshkosh that drew you here?
Well, I'm 51 years old, and I have a career goal that I wanted to retire as a large school Division I superintendent, and I want to have been in a position where I could tackle some unique challenges and be able to eventually retire from that position and say I made a significant difference. Sure. And I looked at Oshkosh and looked at the needs they were wrestling with, and the community interest in wanting to solve those problems, and I said, this is a great match for what I can assist with.
Great, great. Well, you know, we're so happy that you're here, not just here tonight, but here in Oshkosh at our school district. So the school year, we're taping this on the 19th of August. The show's going to run for a couple of weeks. You know, during this time, you're really gearing up for the school year. Kids are getting registered. They're out getting their school supplies. You know, what kind of activities are you guys doing at the district level to prepare for the new year?
Okay, right now our district office staff is bringing all the new educators in because even though we have rigorous standards for everybody we hire, they're new and they're new to Oshkosh. So we again take that responsibility of getting them transitioned very well. We want them coming out of the blocks strong. And so we are taking the time to do some professional development with them about what they need to do to be ready for classrooms, classroom management, etc., and who they need to be contacting in the district should they have any need in certain areas, and trying to cause some familiarity with everyone new who's to Oshkosh and the community and our practices. And we're doing the same thing with all of our new administrators. We have approximately 30 new teachers and 16 new administrators, which I doubt if it's ever happened that we've had that many administrators ever in the history of the school district that have been new to their position, and I'm not sure that will ever happen again. And we've put an inordinate amount of time into the interviewing and the reference checks, and in a number of cases reposting those positions, and I can say with a great deal of confidence we have hired very well. And people in Oshkosh will be heartened by the energy that all these people are bringing, that everybody we've hired has the position to add great value to this community and the school district, and we feel good about that.
Excellent. Well, let's talk about some of these new hires within the administrative angle of things here, because that's what has been making some of the press lately. The school district as a whole and the school board kind of got beat up by the Northwestern here just recently. There were some hires that were done, two that seemed to be kind of controversial. One was Dr. David Gundlach, and I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly as well, but he was hired as a deputy superintendent, and for viewers, he was the actual choice for superintendent in the summer of 2008. He accepted the position, and then because of some things going on, some political things, I suspect, behind the scenes, and then in the media, he withdrew his name from consideration and said the timing wasn't right. But, you know, when I covered politics and the school district up in Menasha, I had the pleasure of, you know, seeing him in action, and I think he's an excellent choice, and I think he will add a lot to this district. But that was the first position that was kind of a controversial one in the eyes of the Oshkosh Northwestern and some citizens. And then the other was Robert Tess. He was hired as the district's new business director. He's not certified, and some in the community are up in arms over the fact that, you know, you knew him. He's not a colleague per se, but he's an acquaintance. You got, you know, and this is pretty common in a lot of industries. You know, you network with people, you come in contact with people. It doesn't make them friends. And I think people are who are up in arms over this are, I think, probably confusing acquaintanceship and being colleagues, if you will, with friendship and cronyism and good old boyism and things like that. So let's talk about how this process went down, what involvement the school board had, and then we can get into the, the specifics of those two in particular. How involved was the school board in this hiring process, if you will?
Sure. Let me begin with hiring goals. And if we were any organization, the two most important things we do as CEOs of any organization is to determine and to know exactly where we're taking the organization. And then the second most important thing we do is to hire the best people we can so that the first goal can actually happen.
Sure.
So when we look at our hiring goals, we were not interested in hiring anyone average in any capacity. And that's why we reposted a number of the vacancies we had multiple times. And we had, again, as we look at every candidate we hired, there can be many criteria you look at. And I had 3 priority criteria after we were all done with every interview, and they were these 3. Does that person have the ability to be viewed as a strong instructional leader in this community, in this school district? That was 1. 2 is presence. Will they stand before the community with me in front of a group of 450 people and on tough issues and have the community say, we're with these people? Or with a large faculty and tackle tough issues and say, I'm inspired by whoever this is, and okay, what do you need me to do? Right. And the third priority criteria is for the people we hired, would we promote them? Are we hiring somebody who could ascend to a higher level in this organization? And in every case, everybody we hired fit all 3. Okay. And that was our transferable across every hire to make sure that we had a level playing field that was of high rigor. Okay. And to blur the lines between, I'll use their words, acquaintance and exceptional talent, those things are a world apart. Okay. And relative to Dave Gunlock specifically and Bob Tess, they're very similar people. And I have known Dave for, I'm guessing, 8-9 years, known who he is, and I've seen his work in action across the state. And I've known Bob for about 6 years. And in both cases, in the communities they come from, they are some of the most highly regarded educators within those communities. And as far as the certification, I'll speak to that. When we looked at the candidates for business manager and looked at what we wanted to accomplish long term, I have come to Oshkosh because I want to make an investment here. I want to address the challenges, make the corrections on those, and eventually retire here in high standing. Okay? One of the things that you would expect of somebody who comes in is to assess current practice. One of the things that I assessed was, in our current practice, we've had 6 business managers in 12 years. And we had situations where we knew some of the people we were interviewing were only looking at us as a stepping stone, and we weren't interested in that. In other cases, there were other reasons where it wasn't a good fit. And with this situation, what we are going to have is, and I'm looking long term on many of our candidates, and Bob included, that in 2 years, we have a candidate who is certified, has 2 years experience, and has been mentored by a paid professional for 2 years who is of exceptional quality. And we have 2 years of great practice put in place. So long term for Oshkosh is we'll have somebody vested in Oshkosh who is a high quality person, extremely hard worker, very intelligent, and on a scale of 1 to 10 as far as a relationship builder, he's a 14. And I could basically replicate this conversation for Dave Gundlach, and he's a similar kind of person. The one additional talent Dave brings is, which caused us to have the opportunity to save a lot of money in the district, is we had a vacant technology position, and we have looming needs in the district in technology, in infrastructure, hardware, software, purchase services, power arrangements, standards for students, professional development for faculty, support for our media centers and our librarians. And there are few people in the state of Wisconsin that could have brought the significant skills in teaching and learning so we can help advance our core mission, and to have those technology skills to address Oshkosh's looming needs.
Sure.
And we created that position to cause that to take place. And long-term, people in Oshkosh are going to be very happy with both those decisions.
Okay. Two things, if we could just address them real quickly, and then we can move on. You know, obviously, the Northwestern has come out saying, look, the public was kind of shut out of this this hiring process. Nobody in the public had a chance to scrutinize these folks. I don't recall us ever scrutinizing the hiring of certain administrators, other than perhaps the superintendent position. So maybe you could just briefly address that. And then the other thing that people have asked, and you know, justifiably so, is with the creation of this position. Well, first of all, were the positions already there, or is this additional monies that we're laying out? Because I think one of the things people feel is we're administrator heavy in this district.
Yeah, actually, we saved in our current arrangement, we saved about $63,000.
Okay.
And what was there is, as Patty Vickman replaced John Sprangers as our Director of Human Resources, we were able to then have the vacant technology position, which 2 years ago that person was paid about $90,000 a year, and the board had left about $60,000 in the fund for that position. We were able to combine those two positions, pay a lesser salary than what the two would have been together, and to hire Dave Gundlach. And you know, as far as the Northwestern goes, I need to create an opportunity to build a relationship with the people from the Northwestern, and clearly understand how they want to do business and what our role needs to be in that. And in the end, whether it's the Northwestern, Western, or interagency groups in town, or business and industry, for us to build a sense of community here in Oshkosh, we're all in this together. And if we're going to realize a preferred state for the community in the next 15 years and define some actionable steps that we can all get behind, we're going to have to collaborate on that. And I actually have a meeting set up this week, Tuesday. I'm having lunch with the editorial board with the Northwestern, and my goal is to use that as an opportunity to start to build that relationship and understand how they would like to work with us. And I'm looking at the Oshkosh Northwestern as a long-term partner.
Okay, excellent. You know, we've talked about the cost savings and so forth. So while we're on the subject of dollars and cents, let's talk about the budget, because, you know, this is middle August. Very quickly, the budget, you know, you're already addressing budget issues. Our tax bills will be coming out before we even know it. So let's talk about how, you know, the needs of the Oshkosh Area School District are going to impact property taxpayers' budgets and their tax bills coming up. Okay. What do you see as
well? I like the way you
problem?
I like the way you frame that, because it's about needs. And when we look at the conversations that we have internally and with the community, we have to put a lot of thought into what those needs are, and those needs need to be central in our conversations with the community around taxes. And I'm glad you asked that question, because it's perfect timing. We have a budget retreat with the board this coming week, and I think everyone is going to be heartened by what we're bringing to that conversation. Now, what we have to address is we've not had a business manager for 4 months, and we've not had an HR person for a while, and we've not had a superintendent for a while. And there's been a period of time where those budget conversations have not been going on. And so what we're doing is, and I keep using the terms with everybody, we need to be future focused. And we're not going to dwell on what was. We're going to take responsibility for this, and we're going to have this much conversation in a compressed period of time, and we are creating the conditions where we can all do that well. Now, go back to what you said about needs. The district does not have a strategic plan, and there are a lot of moving parts in what I'm going to say here, and for all of us to internalize all of this information to the point where we have informed conversations and make informed decisions on behalf of the community, that's very important for us to do. So we don't have a strategic plan, and we are bringing those plans forward for the board in a workshop this coming Wednesday night. Tuesday night we have a retreat on finance, and we're going to be talking briefly about the strategic plan and its role in relationship to finance conversations, because what we need to do with the strategic plan, and let's pick some of those broader categories that are significant needs in Oshkosh. Fiscal strength, working toward fiscal strength over time, addressing those facility needs, our public relations, our transitioning 16 new administrators into their roles, et cetera, et cetera. And we need to put a great deal of thought into that strategic plan, and to do that with strong community engagement, so people feel I have a voice, and that we're helping shape where this community and where the school district within this community is going. And then we anchor our spending plans in those high quality plans of where we're taking the school district. That's the kind of planning people can say, all right, I feel good about that. I'm heartened by that. That sounds like something I do at my own house.
Exactly, and I think that's where in the past, the district has kind of got off the beaten path a little bit, because people have said, well, you're not running the district and handling its budget the way you would handle your own household budget. So that's good to hear. There will always be some people who don't understand the laws where quid pro quo is concerned, and unions and labor costs. There will also always be a certain number of people who don't understand that labor, wage and benefit costs are the bulk of a budget in any business, whether it's a public sector organization or entity, or it's private sector, in a private business. That's just the way it is. It's the biggest bulk of your budget.
And for us, we're at almost exactly 80%, which is really state protocol. So it's not like we're out of line. That we're pretty much where most communities are.
Yeah.
So.
I know that you're just kind of getting into this now, and what I'd like to do is have you or someone from the school board, or both, or maybe the finance director come on as we get more into the budget season, when you're really looking at the board approving a budget to really talk about the nuts and bolts of it. But do you foresee that taxes will go up for the school district portion of their property tax bill?
Okay, fair question, and what I'm going to say, given the amount of time we've had to work toward this, we're bringing our plan, our budget calendar that we've just created, is that we would be bringing that forward to the board hopefully September 8th. So it's a little bit premature for me to take a look at that. When we look at all the variables that go in there as far as student enrollment, state aid, federal assistance, etc., all those variables will be considered, and as we continue to build the budget for the 10-11 school year, between now and mid-October, that will all be finalized.
Okay. Yeah, because you don't even know what your state aid is until you, it's like the third week in September or something like that, right? So, okay, well, we'll have you back and we'll talk about the real nuts and bolts of it. Let's talk about a couple of other things. Was there anything else about the budget or anything we've talked about so far?
Well, you mentioned the school board, and I just wanted to speak to that too.
Sure.
It's I've been in this for 30 years, and been in a number of different districts, and I will say right now, the community should have high confidence in their school board. They care, and there are many attributes we want in people who are on the school board, but when they care about the kids and the programming that is being put in place, That's number one, and it's so evident that they do care, and it's comes out in their conversations, and they really want for it to be good, and I have found that to be very rewarding. The school board has been exceptional to work with.
Sure. Well, you know, it's just really nice to not hear the complaints from citizens about, you know, the school board members kind of bickering back and forth, and that's historically the way it's been. You know, complaints about this board member and complaints about that board member and complaints about how they interact with each other at the board meetings, and you know, that's playground bully stuff. You know, we don't need that, and that's not the professional way to get anything done. So
Thank you.
it's nice to see that, you know, you're trying to move forward rather than dwelling on the past. And, you know, I realize that sometimes you got to look at the past in order to get a roadmap to the future, but you can't dwell on it. You can't live in the past. So this is refreshing to hear. So, okay, let's talk about a couple of other things that have come up recently. Carl Traeger's roof, it's recently been discovered, has about $500,000 in repairs that are needed because the roof was improperly installed. I know that when school board member Steve Dito was on, most recently he talked about that there may be some litigation coming. So, you know, we don't want to get into specifics there, but is this going to be repaired in time for the school year, the new school year?
Yeah. First of all, the root cause of the issue is it's really there's two parts to it, and one is the design could have been higher quality, okay, and the second component of that is we probably could have done a little bit better job on our end of maintaining things along the way. I've been up on that roof and have looked at the couplers on some of the joints that are leaking, and there was a responsibility on our part to have been caulking that along the way, and that may have not taken place to the degree it needed to. And the other key factor here is it's been 13 years, and it's really it's beyond the general point of really a liability on a part of a designer or a contract firm. You know, if it was year two, we would
Different story.
we'd be having different conversations. Okay, but again, those are the kinds of things that I have been to every school district in the community, and we have some amazing facilities, some beautiful historic facilities, and we have some that need attention.
Sure.
And what our job is going to be within, as a component of the strategic plan, is to study the work that's been done by a lot of other people already, and with the community, bring forward a plan that, and I think it's going to need to be done, and again, we've not had these conversations, so I don't want to get out in front of the board yet.
Sure.
But what I'm seeing through my lens right now is that we need to do the best job we can with education in Oshkosh, yet at a pace the community can afford, okay? And maybe we can't afford $70 million right now. But if the needs are still there, then how do we frame that in what the community wants and is willing to pay for over time? So if we take a 15-year look at this and decide, with Oshkosh, who does Oshkosh want to become in the next 15 years, and then frame that out over a couple opportunities anchored against our debt retirement schedule, so we're doing it at a time when we can keep taxes somewhat level. That would be good planning on our part, and those are the things that we have to investigate with hopefully with a task force in strategic planning around facilities.
Okay.
Sound fair?
Absolutely. Any talk that you foresee about possible school closures, not necessarily for this upcoming school year, because it would be too late to do that now, but you know, in like the next school year, anything?
Well, again, I can speak to that. There have been no conversations, nothing even over coffee, to settle that one down. There has been no discussion on that. And I think, to be fair, I think what the community would expect is come in and do a A+ job on assessing what exists and bring forward a plan that's healthy for the community, and then we'll get behind that.
Okay. Well, we've got about three and a half minutes left here. In that amount of time, and it'll be a perfect segue for our next guest, who's here from the Oshkosh Area Humane Society. I want to talk a little bit about service animals. There is an issue right now that is sort of pending before the school district, and this also may be the subject of some litigation coming up, so we don't want to, we want to tread lightly with our discussion here, but obviously there are people who need service animals in and on school grounds and within the school buildings. And, what is the district's current policy, and how is that being tweaked, or is it being tweaked, to meet today's challenges for some folks, whereas, years ago they may have had different challenges?
Okay. Okay, I will admit this. I am not aware of the district's current policy. I've not read that yet. Okay?
That's fair. You've only been here a little while.
Okay. So, but I will be needing to do that soon as we advance this conversation. Just in general, obviously we want to be accommodating to anyone who has a service animal. Okay. And at the same time, we certainly want to know who all of those people are who are going to be on our property, make sure that that's communicated, so that in the event that someone is there, we clearly understand the situation.
Sure.
And I think what we're going to have to do here is, for myself and others, to take a look at that policy, and hopefully if we can have a gentle person's agreement and get beyond this, that would be wonderful. And if it takes a different direction, then we'll go through the process. Okay? So I think what we need to do is, and I know some of these things are going on because it was a component with our new teacher orientation where they were having a conversation about appropriate protocol. I know that from a global perspective, but I wasn't in that part of the meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Fair enough. Okay. Why don't we just end it there? And I'm going to have you back. I've really enjoyed your being here. I really have, and I do hope that you'll come back. It's you are so engaging and so open with the public, and I think that's we're in an era now where that's what we need from our leaders, whether it's within the school district or within the county or the city. And so I'm very grateful and appreciative of the fact that you're so engaging, so open, and so forthright with us here, and I suspect you'll be no different with any other media. So anyway, welcome to Oshkosh, and thanks for being here. And I'm anxious to have you back, probably in a very couple of months here as you get into the budget. So we're going to take a very short break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Cheryl Rosenthal from the Oshkosh Area Humane Society. We'll be right back.
Dear Mom and Dad, well, I finally have some time off, so I'm writing to tell you that I'm doing well. We have good days and bad days over here. We try to remember the good ones and get through the bad ones. Mostly we have each other, and that's what keeps us going. And Mom, since you asked, if anyone wants to help, just tell them to contact the USO. You can't believe how much they do for us. With love, your son, Michael.
Every year, the U.S. Department of the Treasury receives about 1.4 million reports of problems with paper checks. Checks can be lost, stolen, or delayed. If you still receive Social Security payments by paper check, Treasury wants you to know about a safer, more convenient way to get your money. The Direct Express Prepaid Debit MasterCard. The Direct Express card is new and is available to anyone receiving Social Security benefits, even if you don't have a bank account. Your monthly benefits will be automatically placed onto your card account each month on the day your money is due. While other debit cards cost money, it is possible to use the Direct Express card for free to make purchases, pay bills, and get cash at thousands of locations nationwide. There are no sign-up or monthly account fees. No more waiting for the mail or worrying about lost or stolen checks. Call 1-877-212-9991 or visit www.usdirectexpress.com.
We were in an emergency situation. We don't have extra. We have a little bit of water and a little bit of food. A meeting place, no.
No.
I don't think we have a first aid kit.
We have tuna fish, we have
Right.
beans, we have canned tomatoes,
True.
you know.
That's true, but that's really not survival food. Tomato paste.
Yeah, well, yeah, right?
So what all?
With the second half of Eye on Oshkosh, and Cheryl Rosenthal is here as promised, and we're going to cover a whole slew of things tonight. First and foremost is we're going to talk about Shelter Trek, and we just gave our control room crew a video, so we're going to talk
Great.
for a couple minutes here, give them a chance to cue something up so that we can kind of show. Is it last year's Shelter Trek that we're going to be taking a look
Yes,
at?
last year's
Okay.
theme was Shelter Trek Goes Hollywood.
Okay.
And Shelter Trek has a mascot. His name is Buddy. And for the last several years, we've been dressing up Buddy in different costumes. And he's kind of our mascot on our T-shirts and on our posters, kind of to get a, you know, kind of a branding, I guess you would say, to get people to recognize Shelter Trek. And so last year we went Hollywood, so everybody could be glitter and gold and do whatever they wanted to do that was Hollywood. And this year we're doing Wild Wild West.
Okay.
So you can do anything, country, cowboy, you know, whatever you want to do to have fun at Shelter Trek.
Yeah.
And it's a day that is really focused around having fun at Menominee Park with your whole family, including the family dog.
Or dogs.
Or dogs, that's right. We got
'Cause
to
some
have
of us
dogs.
have multiple
Oh,
dogs.
yes, my family has grown itself, so.
Well, you know, Shelter Trek, what is the year now? How many years have you guys been doing this?
17. This
So
is
this
our
is the-
17th
okay.
annual Shelter Trek. And it's been a big part of my position at the shelter to kind of get this underway. And I have a great team of volunteers that helps every year, but it is the community that makes and breaks this. This is our biggest fundraiser, Cheryl. So we
Yeah.
really count on the community getting out there and having some fun with us. And you don't have to collect pledges if you don't want to, but we always have an incentive for people to do that. Registration for the event is $25,
Okay.
and with that you get a free T-shirt, which of course has the year's logo on it. And if you want to have your registration fee waived, all you need to do is go out and collect $150 in pledges. And it's a matter of maybe asking 15 people for $10 and getting it waived, and all that money benefits the Humane Society. And it's just a really fun morning at Menominee Park with your dog.
Sure.
There's contests for you to enter your dog into. We have Best Tail Wag, Best Kisser. And the judges were always a little worried about the Best Kisser because they thought that the dogs would be kissing them. And I thought that might be a little bit too dangerous for some dogs because some they like to nip your nose.
Oh.
And so what we did is the dog kisses its owner.
Okay, well, there you
And,
go.
so that makes it better. And of course, you know, having a theme, we want people to get into costume. And so we give a prize for the best costume for your dog. And we have a lot of people that their dog wears a costume and they wear a costume. And it's
But people don't have to wear a costume,
you don't
right?
have to wear a
Okay.
costume. You don't even have to have a dog to come.
You can just walk.
You can just come and walk. And, you know, because I'm involved with, you know, the announcing and things that are going on during the day, I don't get to bring my dogs. And one of the nice things about not being there with your dogs is you get to meet all these different breeds of dogs. I mean, everything from little tiny pocket dogs to huge Great Danes. Last year we had I believe it's a macaw, the real colorful bird
yeah.
that came. Somebody came and walked with their macaw. And I know in years previous we had a donkey that came.
A donkey, wow.
Yeah, now that was not at Menominee Park, so I don't want anybody showing up with their horse or anything at Menominee Park. I don't want to give the Parks Department a heart attack here. But you know, we've had a couple people come with their cat. Here again, you got to realize that this is a dog event. How is it going to affect, you know, your other pet? So it's really geared for the dogs and your family. And so it's just, and it's what's nice about it is it's a early morning event. You get tired out, but not as tired as your dog does, and then you have the rest of the afternoon to go and do something else that you like to do.
Sure. I think they probably have this queued up now, so oh, they don't have it queued up yet. Okay, we'll just keep talking about it.
We'll just keep talking.
Yeah, we'll just keep talking about it, and it is ready now. Okay, I'm told it's ready.
Okay.
So why don't we take a look at, this is Hollywood, is that what it was called?
Shelter Trek Goes Hollywood.
Shelter Trek Goes Hollywood. This was from September of 2009. So let's take a look at this, and maybe you can just kind of...
Yep, this is Buddy strutting down the runway, you know, kind of like on the...
red carpet, sort of?
red carpet,
Okay.
yep, kind of on
I'm
the
not
red
sure what's
carpet.
happening here.
Oh.
Obviously, there's some
Technical difficulty.
technical difficulties, yes. Well, we'll just, he'll figure that out, and we'll go back to that.
Sure.
So this is the largest fundraiser, you said,
This
that
is our
the
big
shelter has.
fundraiser. Last year it raised about $23,000.
Okay.
We're
Which is about
hoping-
what percentage of your budget?
Oh, you caught me off guard.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't
okay.
know.
Okay. But it's
not enough.
Right,
Not enough.
exactly. It's a good chunk, but it's not like
Right.
half of your
well,
budget.
our
or anything
operating
like that.
costs at the shelter, our operating expenses for a year are $750,000.
Right.
So $23,000 is just
It's-
kind of, you know, it helps. It all
It's a
helps.
nice chunk, but it's by no means
Right.
close to even being
Right.
a quarter or a half.
Right.
But again, every dollar,
Right.
every nickel and dime helps.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
toward meeting the goal. And I think it's probably important what you said before, Cheryl, is that all this money goes to the shelter. You know, so many times we give to organizations and we don't really know where it's going.
Right.
You know, is it all staying with the organization, or is part of it and it's going elsewhere? You know, but this all stays here.
Everything that we do at the Oshkosh Area Humane Society is to benefit the animals. It's not to benefit my vacation, or you know, we look at every dollar that is given to us and we try to spend it wisely, and it either directly or indirectly impacts the effect on the animals that are under our care. And you know, with our new life-saving mission, where we will not euthanize for space, which we have not done since May of 2009, expenses have increased. And I don't know about you, but even in my home budget, things have increased. And so the cost of saving more lives costs more money. And so we take that very seriously. And it's very important that animals get medical care, and that they're fed and kept clean and those types of things. So
Sure.
everything that we receive is well appreciated. And even when people make in-kind donations, those are put to good use. And just to touch on that, for example, a lot of our food is donated, and if we can't use that food, we in turn turn around and give that to like the Salvation Army, or the food pantry, so that other people who need to feed their pets can be helped. And we also have people that come to us, and if they come to us and say, well, I can't afford to feed my dog, well, if that's the reason that they're giving their dog up, everybody hits on hard times sooner or later.
Yeah.
We're going to turn around and give them a couple bags of dog food.
Sure.
Because we would rather do that than to take their dog in.
Sure.
So
Okay, I guess we've got the technical glitches straightened out now, so let's try taking another look here
Okay.
at, you know, Shelter
Oh,
Trek
here's
Goes
our
Hollywood
judges.
from last year.
judges are judging the best trick contest that we had last year, and maybe the best tail wag. It's kind of hard.
You also have, I know in the past you've had, and we can just keep talking about this too, but one of the things that you have as far as an event is the police are there with a radar gun and they test how fast
our
the
radar
dogs
run.
go, right?
Yep, we have our radar run where you stand at one end with your dog and they call, well, somebody holds your dog and you go to the other end with a police officer, and your dog runs towards you and they clock your dog as to how fast your dog is running. We also have the lure coursing, which is an artificial, your dog gets to go in a fenced-in area, which is secured, and they chase an artificial lure that's
There's the
whizzing
macaw.
around.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but there was the macaw.
Yep, there was,
so-
yep, there he was.
Now, you know, obviously there's a lot of stuff going on, but this is a very well-organized event. You know, I haven't participated in it for the last couple of years because of some issues, but
One of the compliments that we get most often is that we've never had an issue with so many dogs. We have about 200 plus dogs that come to this event. And we try to leave enough space so that the dogs have, you know, room to enjoy the kiddie pools that are strategically placed around the park. People just have a really good time. And there's a lot of different things that they can do. One of the other highlights of the day is you can have your picture taken with your pet.
Is that kind of what's happening here, or what's happening
What
here?
they're doing here is the costumes. When you have a costume, you go up on the stage and you present your dog in front of the judge on stage.
All right.
And before the actual walk itself, you get to walk across the stage, and if you want to introduce your dog, you can, or if you just want to have, you know, sometimes.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, aren't those little girls cute? They're just having a ball. There's a little bumblebee. And now the judges are trying to, it's hard.
Yeah.
How do you choose a winner? They're all winners. Everybody that comes to Shelter Trek is a winner, and there they are. They're simply fabulous, aren't they? They're so cute, and they have such a good time. And there's, you know, people, dogs just enjoying themselves in the pools, people standing around, and it's a great way to meet friends that you've never met before.
Well, and it is, okay, I think we can cut that off
We have
now.
the agility.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, the agility. Okay.
If you don't know if your dog would like agility or not, we're going to have C-Spot run there this year, and they're going to be doing some demonstrations. Plus, if you want to try agility equipment, of course, we're going to have it set low so that it's not dangerous for your dog to try. But you can actually see if your dog likes to do that. And I can tell you that there was a young lady who attended last year with her dog, and her dog was having such a good time with the agility equipment, she's now taking agility training with her dog.
Oh, wow.
And is going to compete. So, you know, it's a way to learn of other things that you can do with your dog, other
Sure.
than just take your dog for a walk. But, you know, the walk through Menominee Park was always a highlight for me, because we have a beautiful park. And this is a great way for, you know, it's a day that you can legally walk your dog through Menominee Park.
At least at this time.
At this time, yes. At this time.
We hope that will change eventually.
Yeah.
Now, the walk is, this year, it's on what date?
Saturday, September 11. Registration starts at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And the walk itself is at 10:30.
Okay.
So if you just want to come and walk, if you don't want to do any of the other activities, but a lot of people find if they get there between 8 and 8:30, by the time they have their picture taken, do the lure course, try a little bit of agility, do the radar run, get a hot dog, visit with other people, all of a sudden and do the contests. I mean, just doing the 4 contests alone, it's time to walk. And
Right.
then after the walk, we announce our winners, and of course we also have a basket raffle. We have some wonderful prizes donated this year. So it's just a lot of fun, and before you know it, it's 11:30, 12 o'clock, and everybody's hot and tired, and they all decide it's time to go home.
Yep. And of course, you know, it's you can pick or choose what or how much you want to participate in. If you just want to
don't
go
want
and
to walk,
then they walk.
Some people,
if you don't want to walk, you don't have to walk.
If we've had some people, they bring an elderly pet and they just want to be there with their pet, or they have a small dog that isn't going to make the 2-mile hike. So they just kind of hang around the grounds while everybody else is walking. It is a 2-mile walk or a 1-mile walk, and we have signs along the way so that when you get to the 1-mile marker, or the half-mile marker really, because you walk a half a mile and then there's a sign that says, if you are walking 1 mile, turn around and go back. So that'll complete your 1-mile walk. And then for other people, they're going to make the full tour around the park. And it's not a competition. You know, we're not there timing you to see how fast you can finish. And then as people come back, then we kind of finalize the event and let people know maybe how much money we raised or have a guesstimate as to how much we've raised. And then we announce what the theme will be next year.
Okay.
And so people can be getting ready for it. And so kind of a nice end to the day. So
Okay.
we're hoping, the hardest thing about Shelter Trek is putting the order in for good weather.
Yes.
We don't want it too hot and we don't want it too cold.
Right.
So that's always a big thing, is getting the right weather.
But that's why September, a date in September is usually, you know, pretty moderate.
Right.
I'm trying to think. I think there was one year maybe when there was rain later in the day, but in the morning it was fine.
Right, and then we had one year that the night before we had terrible storms, and I had visions of going and finding all the tents topsy-turvy, and they were fine,
Yeah.
and the day was beautiful. The day was beautiful.
Yeah.
And of course the dogs, you know, we'd like it to be cooler for the dogs, but that one year it was too cool for the grown-ups, for the humans, and everybody was kind of like, where's the coffee?
Yeah. Now, in the event of inclement weather, say it's actually raining, do you still, is it rain or shine? Okay.
Rain or shine.
Okay.
In the 17 years that we have held Shelter Trek, the walk has been canceled once, and that was because we had thunder and lightning.
Okay.
And we're not going to put people in danger, people and their pets in danger. If it's raining, we're still going to do it. I'll still be there.
But again, if people start out and they have their intent to walk, but it rains and they don't want to walk, they don't have to.
They don't have to.
There's no pressure.
And we're hoping
you know?
that we have tents there so that they can kind of huddle under and make the best of it. And who knows? Even hopefully, if it does rain, it's a little rain cloud that quickly dissipates, and then the sun will come out and dry us all off, and we can get on with the walk.
Sure,
So,
absolutely. Anything else about Shelter Trek then, Cheryl, that you think we should talk about before we move on to some
I
other
can't
stuff?
think of anything else. They can visit our website to get their registration form, or stop into the shelter for a registration form.
And we've got the website
Right.
that
The other thing
I hope
that's
they've been putting up.
different a little bit about Shelter Trek the last 2 years, if people want to, instead of personally going out and collecting pledges, you can go to firstgiving.com and make up your own fundraising page. And it's kind of a fun way. I've sent my dog's pictures to my friends and relatives and said, in their voice, we're walking for my friends at the shelter, could you please donate? And it's a really nice way and then people can give right online. And I don't know about you, but when people ask me that way, I'm more apt to give a little bit more money because I don't have any cash in my pocket,
Sure.
maybe don't have the checkbook, but I can put it on my credit card.
Sure.
So that's another way that people can do that. Go to firstgiving.com, look for the Oshkosh Area Humane Society, and make a fundraising page for Shelter Trek.
Okay, excellent. Well, let's talk about some other things. What other events do you have coming up?
Well, we don't have anything definitely scheduled, but some of the things that we're talking about doing, Cheryl, with our life-saving mission, we're finding that we really need to get more out into the community. We can't expect everybody to come to the shelter. Not everybody's comfortable coming to the shelter. And one of the things that really proved this point to us is when we hold our feline frenzy at the YMCA. And we did it last year, and we did it again this year. And this year we had about the same attendance. It was held at the YMCA. We had I think we had about 60 cats there available for adoption. We did same-day adoptions, and we adopted out 36 cats and kittens. So that indicates to us that not everybody wants to come to the shelter, but people want to adopt from the Humane Society. And so what we're looking into is having some more adoption events, maybe utilizing Gallery Walk, because that's a big community event where people come out. We are in the process of talking with the people at the Senior Center that maybe we can do some kind of a combination program and adopt-a-thon with the Senior Center. And we're also looking at other businesses that might be willing to have an adoption day or an adoption hour where our staff or volunteers can take a couple animals in and just showcase them, maybe during a lunch hour or something like that. All of these things, though, is contingent on the availability of our staff and volunteers because, as you know, the many times you've been at the shelter, we're all wearing lots of different hats.
Absolutely.
And so we need to be, here again, we want to keep that budget down, but in the same token, we want to make sure that we're giving all these animals the exposure that they need to get them adopted.
Well, and I think, you raised a good point about, staff and the volunteers there wearing a lot of different hats. The shelter is always looking, besides donations and in-kind donations as well, they're always looking for volunteers. And, here again, you can volunteer as much or as little as your schedule allows or you feel comfortable doing.
We do like our volunteers to commit to at least 6 hours a month. And 6 hours a month, I mean, if you're a cat lover or a dog walker, You walk a couple dogs, and before you know it, you're there a couple hours.
Yeah.
And so that 6 hours a month is nothing. Something else that we're always in need of, especially with the life-saving mission, is we are in desperate need of foster homes. We need foster homes. This past summer, our volunteer coordinator, Sharon, has utilized about 50 foster homes.
Wow.
And we really need more. And the reason we need more, 50 sounds like a lot, doesn't it?
It does.
But if you're a foster...
But not when you have that many cats.
Not when you have that many cats, and if you're a foster mom, let's say that you decide to foster a litter of kittens, and you have that litter of kittens for 3-4 weeks, and then you bring those kittens back to the shelter, you might like to take a break. And so we need to find another foster home. We don't want to burn out the foster homes that we have. And we don't ever want to say to a foster home or have a foster home feel that, well, I can't go on vacation or I can't do anything. So we like to have those additional foster homes kind of waiting in the wings, that if somebody can't do it, then we call the next one. And so some people are disappointed if there isn't a cat or a kitten available readily to go into their foster home. So you're kind of on a waiting list. But then again, sometimes that waiting list goes really fast. And so instead of, giving the burden of foster care to 30 or 40 foster homes, we'd like to have a base of about 100 so that everybody can take a break and not be worn out from, oh my gosh, they want me to foster again. Oh, I need a break.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a break now and then.
We're down to about a minute and a half here, Cheryl, and real quickly, I want to touch on something. You guys are doing low-cost spay and neuters now?
We are not doing low-cost spay neuters.
But they're being done at your facility, or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
Explain to me, because someone told me that they recently had their dog, one of their dogs spayed and the other one neutered over there.
Through the shelter.
Okay. Tell us how that
we
works
have,
quickly.
Occasionally we have grant money that allows for spay neuters.
Okay.
And then we also have a grant right now that is slowly running out of money, where you can have your pit bull spayed or neutered for $25. But we have recently partnered with an organization in Madison called Shelter from the Storm. And Shelter from the Storm is a clinic in the Madison area. And we are a drop-off station for them. So what we do is we put it out to the community that if you want to have your cat spayed or neutered and you financially find it a hardship, you can come to the shelter and fill out the form to have your animal taken to Shelter from the Storm in Madison, and we are a drop-off and pick-up point for Shelter from the Storm. We are not doing the surgeries. What happens is a van comes, picks up the animals, takes them to Madison, the animals have their surgery, and they're brought back.
Okay, excellent. But either way, it's a way for someone who is financially strapped to get this done. It's a very important thing to have your pet spayed or neutered.
And what's really nice, it isn't just spay and neuter. You can get their vaccinations. They provide pain medication, and there's a whole list of things that you can have done for a very minimal fee. And we spell it all out for them on the form.
Okay, excellent. Cheryl, thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
It's always so great to have you guys here. And it's a pleasure for me because it's a passion for me.
Well, thank you.
Anyway,
thank you very
good
much.
luck
We
with
appreciate
Shelter
it.
Direct.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it for us. We will see you next time. Until then, take good care. Keep your eye on us. We've got Our Eye on Oshkosh.